no such thing as thinking that you're ahead on points. I can tell you that.
Well, if Oquendo's trying to sit on the lead, and he's not, he throws a left hook that lands there. Byrd comes back with a straight left hand. Oquendo with his third big tackle of the game. And now, Eddie Cotton, I believe, is going to deduct a point for roughhousing.
Time in. Let's go.
No, he did not deduct a point.
Keep it fair. That was good for Cotton.
So no point deduction. Byrd's going to have to do it on his own.
All of a sudden, Byrd looks like Joe Frazier.
Amen.
Well, the southpaw Joe Frazier. They're probably about to fight the best 50 seconds of the fight.
If Byrd loses, he could go back to oblivion. Without a title, who would fight him?
Look at Byrd firing power shots. Most unusual moment of Chris Byrd's career. Bell will sound and Oquendo will celebrate. Oquendo trying for that moment of camaraderie at the end of the fight, and Byrd wanted no part of it, probably feeling as though he's been fouled too much in the fight. It winds up close on the Letterman scorecard as Byrd sweeps the last 3 rounds to get to within 115, 113. Change 1 round from Oquendo to Byrd, and you got an even fight. So there is still suspense as we wait for the official scorecards.
Thank you so much. God bless you. God, thank you so much.
I think the tip-off was the referee not calling that last knockdown.
Well, let's take a look at what happened at the beginning of the round. This is what Eddie Cotton ruled to push. Right hand to the side of the head. Left hand. Then he stepped in and bodied him and tripped him. What do you think, George?
I think the punch created everything. But then I don't think that well anymore.
George, don't say that. We're paying you big money to think that way, okay? Chris Byrd threw 103 power punches over the last 3 rounds. Was it enough? Let's go to Jimmy Dunn Jr. for the official scorecards.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards with a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Donald Ackerman scores at 115 to 113. Judge Stephen Epstein scores about 116 to 112. And Judge John Duke Lawson sees about 117 to 111. All 3 in favor of the winner, and still champion, Chris Byrd.
Well, here we are again. 1 week later. And like I said, judges aren't particularly accustomed to seeing Chris Byrd lose rounds. Final CompuBox numbers, total punches. Byrd 132 out of 484. And they're chanting BS in this crowd. Oquendo 156 out of 486. Jabs. CompuBox doesn't measure the impact of punches. just the number of punches thrown and landed. Byrd 55 out of 245. Oquendo 66 out of 169. Percentages favor Fres Oquendo. 117, 111 Byrd. That scorecard is rather amazing.
You know what? Sometimes I believe we do have the best judges. Money can, well, the best judges.
Harold's the best judge money can buy. He's getting paid by HBO. Let's have Larry Merchant talk with both fighters. Larry?
Thank you very much, Jim. Congratulations, Chris. How difficult was that fight for you?
Oh man, I first of all, I thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for everything. Very difficult. I took this man for granted. I'm so cocky and at my own abilities, I forget what kind of abilities he has. I forget him. I've been out about 10 months. Man, I train hard, but still, when you're not fighting, when you're fighting a guy like him, who's smart, who's fast, who's very crafty, you know, you got to be on top of your game. I come in thinking I'm the man, looking for Lennox Lewis and Roy Jones, got that on my mind. This guy is a for real guy. He's for real. If he get with Chris Byrd like that, I'm telling you, big guys can't, like he said, big guys can't.
All right, you hear the crowd behind us disagreeing vehemently with the result.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Easily he could have went to him. No doubt. You know, it was like Shane Mosley last week with the aggression. Like I said, I scored for Shane Mosley. I told you, in this fight, I probably would have to come at him. And that's one thing I did. I tried to make the fight. He's smart. He's pretty crafty. He know when to hold, break loose.
Have you ever been in a fight where you had to pull the fight out at the end and be the aggressor?
No, only Vitaly Klitschko, because I told you I had to come at him. This man I had to come at too. Angles, speed. He's a for real deal. He got in shape for this. He wanted it really bad. And like I said in the meeting, guys like this guy is very hungry.
Did he hurt you?
Not really hurt me. You know, you get hit with a punch. You're like, woo, he can hit. I better keep my hands up. He got a weird hook. He's very deceivingly strong. And he's a great fighter.
Thank you, Chris. Fres.
Man,
Fres. Your corner was telling you were winning the fight. Did you think you were winning it?
Of course, you know, I fought the best heavyweight in the world. It motivated me. You know, I mean, can't take nothing from Byrd. Byrd was a nice, slick fighter. But today I showed the world, the boxing world, the new Fres Oquendo. Not only am I fast, I'm powerful. As you've seen tonight in the ring, you know, it's a fight that the public thought I won.
What was your game plan, and do you feel you executed it?
Well, my game plan is to have him at bay, good jab, straight right hand. They were expecting me to throw my looping right hand, looping punches, you know, the old Fres. But every fight I come different, and like Byrd said.
Did you want him to be the aggressor?
Well, yeah, I wanted him to come to me so I could surprise him with my jabs, hooks, you know, right hands. I landed at will. And, you know, I thought I was winning closely. But, you know, hey, God bless that we both came out in great health.
Fres, you seem to be taking this awfully well. Are you going to go back in your dressing room and beat up on a few walls? Because you have every reason to believe that you won the fight.
Yeah, you know, it's a heartbreaking loss. Thank God, one of the greatest promoters of all time, Don King. He put me right back up in the mat. He knows I'm one of the best heavyweights out there. And, you know, not only does he have Byrd, he has Fres Oquendo, the new generation of heavyweights.
Thank you very much, guys.
God bless. Todo el mundo, the progress, everybody.
Let's take a look at these judges. And we want to give you the full names of the judges who scored this bout. Don Ackerman from New York, 115-113 Byrd. Steve Epstein of Connecticut, 116-112 Chris Byrd. John Lawson of Connecticut, in effect, saw this fight 9 rounds to 3 for Chris Byrd. 9 rounds to 3. George, I'm not sure what fight we were watching, but it appeared to me that Oquendo was the aggressor. Oquendo fought the fight that he wanted to fight. Oquendo landed more high-quality punches. How did Byrd win?
You know what? Until boxers ourselves start to speak out about some of these weird decisions, they're not going to see any justice. When I hear the boxers being interviewed afterwards, that frightens me more than what the judges' decisions were. Boxers need to speak out a little bit more.
You're saying that Fres Oquendo should have been considerably more vocal and more disturbed than he was about that decision.
And not only that, the champion himself, he should have spoken out. He know he didn't win that boxing match. And at least say it. Just say it. He still got the belt on his shoulder, but sometimes speak up. If this is going to be fair play, no hitting below the belt, no rapid punching, the boxers are going to have to carry this stuff out. And these stinky decisions boxers are going to have to start speaking out against him.
I'll tell you what, just to underline a point that we were making in the late rounds, if Chris Byrd and his father had thought that they were headed towards some unanimous decision victory, 117-11, a score like that, they would never have fought the last 3 or 4 rounds the way they did. He was trying to fight, as you pointed out, Larry, like Joe Frazier.
All I can say is we were wrong again.
Yeah, we were. That's right.
But at least we didn't get a promoter, and Don King in this case, throwing any tantrums and
Filing protests,
accusing officials of conspiring. Of course, in this case, he had both fighters.
Hey, speaking of protests, Bob Arum and Oscar De La Hoya's protest against the decision last week. Where does that stand now?
It's sitting down apologetically.